Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to have videos of the paid requests. This time for Douglas. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, PayPal is usually the best bet, or join my Patreon. Links are in the info box over there, or over there, whichever it is today. This is for the 1980 film The Lawn Riders, about Jesse James, his brother, as well as the Yunner gang. Now, I would say the interest in this film is the director and the cast. You got Walter Hill directing, which he would go on to do Southern Comfort, 48 Hours. He had made The Warriors. He would go on to make Last Man Standing with Bruce Willis. A lot of solid films. And then the cast is they cast a lot of real life brothers in this. So you have James Keach and his brother Stacy Keach as Jesse James and Frank James. The Younger brothers, which is three of them, is David Carradine from the TV show Kung Fu, Lone Wolf McQuade. You have Robert Carradine from Revenge of the Nerds, and you have Keith Carradine, who later worked with Walter Hill on Southern Comfort. And then you have Dennis Quaid and his brother Randy Quaid, which I thought was cool to see them in the same film. And then you do have Christopher Guest and Nicholas Guest. They're not part of the gang, but they're two other people that do get involved within the story. Other people recognize James Remar's in the film, who of course worked with Walter Hill a lot. He was in The Warriors, among other films. Pamela Reed, who I remember being Arnold's partner in Kindergarten Cop. She's here as Bo Starr, who's kind of a love interest for David Carradine's character. And pretty much it shows James and Stacy, David Keith Robert, and Dennis Randy, the seven of them, doing this robbery. Dennis Quaid goes off stripped, off kilter, shoots the bank teller. That they hightail it out of there. They don't like Dennis Quaid's behavior, so they kick him out of the game. And Sally, that's a case where Dennis Quaid is not in the film as much as I want him to be, since he's one of my favorite actors within the movie. So he appears a couple more times. There's a decent bit between him and Keith Carradine, where it seems like the girl who's with Dennis Quaid actually wants to go with Keith Carradine. There's one or two bits between Dennis and Randy Quaid. I wish we could have seen more of Dennis and Randy Quaid act together, because I don't think there's another film they acted together. I could be wrong. If so, feel free to educate me on that. But I don't think there's any other film they were together. So I wish there was more scenes of them acting together and talking with each other and being in the same frame. And for a lot of these guys, I wish, like, between David, Keith, and Robert, there are moments they're around playing cards, but I wish there was more of the three of them talking with each other and conversing with each other, like the three of them in the same frame. It's mostly, other than when they're doing a robbery, they're kind of separating their own little stories, and it's kind of like a Cliff Notes version of events. Like the script, one of my issues, and I didn't mind the film, it was alright, but it was like a sporadic, the plotting, especially the first half, because they do the robbery, but then there's some hold down dancing, or James Keach gets buried. I do like David Carradine's dialogue where first he gets shot, then he's getting married. He's got some bad habits. I thought David Carradine was the best part of the movie. He was my favorite part of the film. Does he have that right attitude, the look, his performance? He just fit right in to the proceedings. He fit perfectly. And he, in a good way, stuck out to me. James Keach, I guess him and Stacy, they were wanting to get this film made for a while and producing it. and that's why James got to be the lead. But I honestly thought he was the weakest actor of all of them. Maybe just I've never been a James Keach fan. I like Stacy Keach, and I part of me wishes he was more the lead. He could still be Frank James because he lives. I don't want Stacy Keach's character, Stacy Keach to die in the movie. But I wish he was more focused on him and less on Jesse James. Because James Keach, of all these actors, it's like James Keach gotta be the lead. I know why, but at the same time, it's like, not gun ho about it. But for me, it's kind of like certain characters disappear for a bit. Just like, okay, they're at a hoedown. Then it's David Carradine talking with Pamela Reed, who plays Bo Star, and talking in this bar. Or Keith Carradine is with one of their cousins, and there's these two lawmen, or whoever they were, and there's a bit of a standoff, and one gets shot, and one shoots the other, and then Keith Carradine chases the guy down and guns him down. I will admit, when people get shot, nice blood hits, some decent slow motion, as if maybe Walter Hill wanted to do a little bit of Sam Peckinpah, at least a teeny bit of it, with the bloody hits in slow motion. I would at least assume that was somewhat inspired. So I do appreciate that the gunshots are nice and bloody. They were practical, squibs. Then a posse tries to burn down this place, but they accidentally blow a piece of the inside up. And unbeknownst to them, a 15-year-old kid was in there, which was James and Stacy's younger brother. Part of the Jesse James family, the youngest James. So the men find these two guys who were leading the posse, and they blow them away. Again, decent practical squibs and stuff. Then it cuts to James Remar, who's the husband of Pamela Reed, and challenging David Carradine to a fight. And I didn't mind the scene. They have this knife fight where they go back and forth until ultimately, spoiler, from here on spoilers, David Carradine stabs James Remar in the leg. And then it's like the men and talking with the women they love, or the women they're married to, or the women they're going out with. And like I said, I thought a film, like for example, Young Guns later on. That film, I thought, did a better job of having a story. Like, we're introduced to the characters, then when there's one goal, and they're together for most of it, and we see them on this journey from beginning to the end, leading to this big bang shootout action sequence. But here it felt as if it wasn't as tight or as focused. It felt like this is a movie that, and when I read up on this, actually, at first they wanted this to be a miniseries. I could see that. They didn't film it like that, of course, but they wanted it to be a miniseries, but then there were no takers. Because that would have fleshed out some of the other characters, could have fleshed out some of the other stories. Because like Dennis Quaid, you only see him like 2 or 3 more times. The last time we see him is in a jail. And then it's like, hey, come on, tell us a bit more of the game. He's like, nope. I only have a couple bit of time here, and then I'm scot-free. And apparently he's right, because you never see Dennis Quaid again. Which is a shame. And apparently that rooster over there feels the same way too. Just want to see more Dennis Quaid. We'll like to see him and Randy Quaid more. There's a nice dialogue scene between David Carradine and Stacy Keach on a train. I won't go into the details. I'll say that for those who do watch the film, but it was just really one of the only times David Carradine and Stacy Keach, two actors I enjoy, got to talk and work with each other, and I thought, okay, these are two pretty good actors. They're sharing a scene together. Wish could have seen more of that. So I wish it rather be either concentrate on more Stacy and David, and their friendship and their back and forth and their camaraderie. Or, like I said, James Keach I thought was a kind of a dud as a lead. I think there's a reason why he didn't get to be the lead in a whole lot of other movies, especially after this. Because he's definitely, his brother is, I think, the better actor. Just go watch Stacy Keach in films like Road Games and shows how much of a better actor Stacy Keach is. But I mean, they did a very decent job with the costumes and the setting to make it look like the Wild West. When you get into the third act, they're going to rob a place in Minnesota, but they come to find out too late that it's a trap. And this is spoilers. Because the safe is on a time lock. Randy Quaid, I guess, like his brother, Dennis doesn't like certain things, so he shoots the teller. They become trapped. And they're trapped for a while in this town, and they get bloodied up. Granted, I'm kind of sitting there going, God, can no one shoot straight? They're shooting the posse and missing, and God, you guys, everyone's missing too damn much. But our characters do get hit quite a few times. But they don't hit a lot of the posse. They hit, kind of one hand how many people they hit. Like, damn, aim better. But yeah, I mean, Keith Carradine gets shot through the cheek. Robert Carradine gets shot quite a few times. David Carradine gets shot a few. I think Randy Quaid gets shot in the gut. They all ultimately make it out. It would be 6 of them. Because Dennis Quaid's not there anymore. Pretty much they're bloodied up, and James Keach is like, tough titty to them, let's go. And David Carradine is like, you really don't want to leave? And you tell Stacy Keach doesn't want to leave, but as he puts it, I gotta go with my brother, man. So it's not that he wants to leave, it's just that he gotta stick by his blood. So ultimately they leave, then James Keach gets home, and one of the guests, they're there and shoots Jesse James in the back. Stacy Keach comes in and says, I'll turn myself in. Just let me be able to bury my brother. Ultimately that happens, gets on a train, and the movie's over. That's another thing. They don't really give like a monologue or text or anything about what happened to these characters afterward. I had to look it up on the internet that apparently Frank James didn't really get a lot of jail time. Maybe because he turned himself in. The 3 brothers, I think 1 or 2 of them lived a while and they died in jail. And I think David Carradine's character got out and joined with Frank James. And they were together doing shows or Western shows until they died in their 70s. Something like that. But you never know watching the film because they don't do anything at the end to tell you that. That's the thing. I think this would have worked better if James Keach wasn't the lead, because I think he's the least interesting, most dull actor of the group. I think the others are very capable, except him. And number 2, if this was a mini-series where you'd have more, it doesn't feel like we gotta really with the plot go here, 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 here. Have more of a flow, and have more of Dennis Quaid, and have more of Dennis and Randy together, and have more of the 3 Carradines together, and really get a feel. I don't really get a feel of them as a bond as brothers, those 3. I mean, hanging out playing cards and saying a few words doesn't really give me a sense of they're brothers. You tell me they're brothers, but you get a sense that maybe David and Keith are picked on Robert Carradine, or like David, I don't know if David had conversation with Keith. But I can't remember them having big conversations with each other about anything. Other than like 1 or 2 word answers. I would like to see a lot more of that, considering what the gimmick is of them, brothers being in this together. Now, again, maybe because you have so many characters and you have so little time. If that's the case, then I think a more straightforward plot like Young Guns would have worked better. Or that one didn't feel like it was going all over the place. Like, you had subplots, Kiefer Sutherland with the lady he liked, the Asian lady. But it didn't go too, the Casey Shamastro, I'm a pugilist. If it went, like, it still stuck with the group. It felt like it fit with the story, with the flow of the movie. But again, do I think this is bad? No, I think the action when it's there, nice bloody hits, definitely give it some grit to that. The sounds of the guns, the bits of slow mo. The rest of the cast, other than James Keach, very nice to see them all in the same film. The look of the film, like again, the sets, the costumes, pretty capable job of making it seem like it's the Wild West. I think if you're a sucker for westerns, it's definitely worth a look. If the cast intrigues you, it's worth a look. But I mean, I wouldn't put up there with Young Guns or what was the Man with No Name trilogy or Rio Bravo or other westerns. But I don't think it's awful. But this is actually a case where a longer film where it could breathe at times. Let certain scenes breathe. Let the characters breathe, talk to each other. I think could have helped a bit. And yeah, James Keach, I don't know if he was the right guy. I did, hey, Stacy Keach, I don't know. Maybe keep James Keach, but have it be more Stacy, David Carradine, and their friendship be the centerfold. Because apparently they were friends till the end of their lives. If that's the case, for what I read, Frank James and the older, younger, why not make that the centerpiece in this movie? And then maybe have a last scene where they're in their 70s and I don't know. I'm just spitballing. But it's not my favorite Walter Hill film. It's definitely not the worst. It's not, what was that last film? That film with, oh my god, Michelle Rodriguez, where she's a woman, but then she becomes a man. Or no, she's a man and then becomes a woman. Like, she's pretending to be a man at the beginning, but then she becomes a woman. I forget what the hell that movie's called, but this is better than that. But with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.